Welcome to the SalesWings Expert Interview Series with host Philip Schweizer and Thierry Sequeira.
Hey, welcome everybody to the show, another SalesWings Expert Interview Series. Today we have Thierry from Massive Rocket, and this show is brought to you by SalesWings. SalesWings is a Braze and Salesforce tech partner. We augment and upgrade Braze to become the leading B2B marketing engagement platform with essential functionality around lead and account qualification, sales insights inside Salesforce, but also aspects like B2B marketing attribution. And Massive Rocket is a leading and very innovative Braze and Snowflake specialized consultancy. I know you guys have over 150 Braze projects under the belt. And as you say it on the website, you are born at the intersection of modern marketing, data, and engineering. Thierry, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Philippe.
Yeah, you bet. I was really looking forward to this. And I really look very much forward to seeing you at Braze Forge in just about 3 weeks. So that's exciting. So Thierry, tell us a little bit about Massive Rocket and your journey around it, but really what makes Massive Rocket unique amongst all the consultancies out there.
Yeah, of course, sure thing, Philippe. And again, thank you so much for having me today. We're super excited to be here today to also talk about migrating Braze customers over to Braze. I think generally speaking, Massive Rocket, we're a team of about 80 people, Snowflake and Braze agency. As you've mentioned, we've done over 150 Braze implementations, and we've been around for about 6 years now. We serve kind of global brands. So if you go on massiverocket.com, actually, you can kind of check out some of the customer stories of what we do. But in super simple, we help companies collect customer data, build a 360 view and a 360 understanding of their customers, and then connect that to Braze to run automated campaigns. And really, the outcome of that is sending relevant messages to people who care about it at scale.
Yes.
And then I think to answer your question, what makes us a little bit different, obviously, we focus on Braze and Snowflake. It's something that we heavily leaned into about 6 years ago. And some of the things that make us a tiny bit different is the fact that we do end-to-end services. So we'll help customers select the tools, deploy the tools, migrate over, and then run campaigns moving forward. And the outcome of our work is really growing customer lifetime value for our customers. And so if you're a company that needs to grow, you're thinking about investing in customer engagement, you're interested in accelerating your program, you're potentially looking at growing across US, Europe, and APAC regions, we're kind of a good place to do that.
Great. Yeah, no, it sounds amazing. And I did see also some of these brands you're working with. So I saw Sega up there. So I was actually a Nintendo fan, but Sega is still a great brand to work with. So I think that global aspect is very interesting. And what intrigued me is really also the fact that you have, not just the marketing strategy side of things, but you have a very strong tech background, enabling, using tech, and then the data, which is really the fuel for great customer experiences, as we know. So I know that you have experience with other solutions as well. So, Particle is mentioned on your website and so on. But Braze is, besides Snowflake, that key technology you're making a bet on. Tell us why.
I'm not going to talk badly about any other platforms. We've deployed pretty much everything under the sun at this point. But I'd say that we absolutely love Braze at Massive Rocket. And there's a few reasons, but in super simple, the people who use Braze, the campaign managers, love Braze, and that makes a huge difference. Braze I think, has got one of the best user interfaces out there and allows you to go from very basic to super advanced without needing to switch out tools. And so that's something that's really important to us, is I don't think I've seen maybe one customer migrate over from Braze over the last 6 years. And so that's something that's always exciting for us, is customers never complain about it not doing what was promised during a sales cycle. And so that's, I think, the second reason is Braze does what it says it's going to do. And that's really exciting because we don't show up in awkward conversations having to talk about, yeah, maybe we can do this, but we probably have to build the feature for you. It's like it does what it says it's going to do. And that's really cool for us. And then the last bit is around the technology decisions that the team have made over the last few years. Braze has a very, very forward-thinking approach to technology. They've decided to build only what's high value and not there in the market. And that also means that they're really good at connecting with existing ecosystems from customers. Customers will have a bunch of existing solutions on the data side, on the customer engagement side. Maybe different channels have different solutions, and Braze is really good for connecting to that, being the heart of the orchestration, and then pushing out relevance throughout the stack. And that's something that we absolutely love about them.
Yeah, I can only echo that. I think Braze has really a mix of great, let's say, character traits that make a company and a team successful when it comes to deploying, ongoing campaigns and leveraging the data and so on. I think the usability aspect is really critical based on my experience. So you mentioned also, Braze is a technology that companies sometimes start with. They kind of crawl with it, they start walking, and they can grow with it. I think that's really, really powerful, as opposed to, potentially some other platforms where you can do, absolutely everything. But then some of the users within the team may just not feel so comfortable. And at the end of the day, that means that their marketing is, sort of handicapped to some extent.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd say just to add to that is we spend almost, I think of the time we spend in a day for the whole company, we spend almost no time hacking and figuring out stuff that should work out of the box. Is like most of our time is spent growing customers and generating campaigns that drive revenue. And so, it's stressful enough for a marketing team to switch tools, install a tool. Like you need to be, also running campaigns and showing money and revenue and ROI to the business. And so that's something we're able to do super, super quickly with Braze. And so that makes us very confident also in the solution.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's really about, I think great marketers should be creative, strategic, but then also have a tool that allows them to be very tactical, right?
Yeah.
And actually not worry too much about the tech and learning and so on. Even though Braze, like any solution, is a platform where you want to learn more and more and invest your knowledge in. But really, if doing or putting into reality what you want to do is too hard, that's a problem. And I think that leads us maybe to our next conversational topic here. So, whether it's a B2B or a B2C company, you're starting somewhere with a marketing engagement platform or a tech stack. And at one point, some of them that will be very successful, and others, may run into issues. So whether it's Braze or another platform, just generally speaking, based on your experience, what would you say are some of the key success factors for teams and organizations that make the company successful in leveraging the technology they're deploying?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I think it's there's a lot that goes into this, right? So over here, we've looked at it for like the last 6 years. I've been doing this for about like close to 20 years now, and the answer has definitely changed over time also. But some of the things that I've seen in common, like I'll talk maybe first from a technology point of view, and I know this is a business question first, but from a technology point of view, we've actually seen that customers who, Braze is kind of like the commonality across all of our accounts, but we've seen that customers who have a cloud data warehouse close to their project end up getting to value 4 times faster than any other accounts. And that's why we're a Braze and Snowflake agency. We see customers get up and running, fix the data, put it in Braze, and then start making money quickly. And so from a technology point of view, if you don't have the right tools, that can be a hindrance, basically. And you end up, if you make the wrong stack decisions, you're kind of like going down a rabbit hole of trying to figure out how to connect a bunch of stuff together, and you spend no time actually making money. From a business point of view, there's 3 things that I've seen kind of common on all super successful projects. Is one, clear ownership of different parts of the project, who owns what. That means that there's if you've got joint ownership on different elements, then you end up having kind of multiple sets of decisions that end up accumulating in kind of a mess at some point. And so like clear ownership on different components on the stack has made a big difference. Having an ambition to grow has been a very important success criteria. Like businesses that want to grow tend to lean in and really want to look for the benefits of new solutions. And then the last one is around decision making. Like we've seen that the few projects that have gone a bit slowly have been stuck around the ability to make decisions quickly, and you end up in big long debates. Whereas like businesses who make quick decisions may make mistakes, but learn very, very quickly and adapt and then get back on the right path, which really is where the benefits come from over here as well.
Interesting. I think one area you touched upon is really it starts also with making the right choice. What's the resources that you're willing and able to put into the platform? I think a lot of companies make the mistake they go for a solution that will do everything possible in the world. I always say that features and functionalities comes with a price. You're paying for it in your license, but you're also paying for it in terms of adoption, knowledge retention, etc. So a platform that fits your needs. And we've developed here at SalesWings a bit of a decision matrix for our own use, but it's really about breaking down all your requirements when it comes to what do I as a user, what do I want to do, and it can be features, but ideally it's use case focused, and then have a clear understanding of the must-have requirements that you have versus the nice-to-haves. And then at the same time, splitting those into what do I really need today and what are then must-haves down the road. And I think, ideally when you're revamping or migrating over to a new technology, you should have at least that 5-year horizon. Right?
It's one thing you said I think is really important is like the time it takes to adopt a new tool, and that's why the number one reason for why Braze for us is like end users are happy in Braze. You don't have to convince them that it's a good tool. They're kind of like happy living in there. They plan to run campaigns. They come up with ideas. They execute quickly. So you don't have to spend time migrating and then another bunch of years convincing people that this is a good idea. It's like they're happy in there already. So that tends to accelerate projects like crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a core platform for marketing teams, and we always talk about teams, but there's humans, right? You're sitting here, you're working with a solution. It's your day-to-day jobs that better be they better like to work with it. So you're helping a lot of companies come on board of Braze. But before we really talk about Braze itself, some of these issues that companies are fighting with whatever platform they're using before, because of course you maybe work with some startups and new companies out there, but let's just say the bulk of it, they're leaving a platform, and we're not talking about what's wrong with those platforms, but what are some of the issues that can be fixed, where you'd say, look, your current platform's great, but you've got to work on that. And what are some of the things where an organization, has to say, well, look, this is just not working for us. We need to make a switch and, replace the stack.
It's a really good question, Philippe. And you probably spent a bunch of time thinking about this as well. To be honest, you can make anything work, right? Like we can go and we have customers where we just went and built a customer engagement product for them. But what I would say is that's a problem that's been solved. And so, as I was saying at the start, it really comes down to the ambition for growth. How important is growing the business, growing customer lifetime value to the business? And if those two things are important, then you kind of want to look at, do I have a real database of users, proper contactable users, and do I have a good product? And if those two things are true, you run customer engagement, the business grows. So you can make what you have today work. There's kind of no doubt. We've gone and hacked a bunch of products. We can go and build extra features, something that a product doesn't do now, we can go and build it. But it'll take a long time. It'll be slow, and you'll be innovating on stuff that's, what's the point of building something that exists already, basically? And so The areas where, and generally I'd say that marketing is under a lot of pressure in most businesses because today, and this has happened, I think, accelerated anyhow, like since COVID. And so what I'm going to say here, I think, is kind of a no-brainer to a lot of people. But digital transformation used to be this thing that we talked about. Now it's done, right? Everyone's online, everything is digital. You got to engage with your customers digitally, which means that marketing has gone overnight and become super technical. It's deeply connected to engineering, deeply connected to data, and we've kind of changed the game with the same marketeers, and so they need to go and run very technical campaigns very, very quickly. And so the places where I've seen it start to break are things like segmentation, personalization, targeting. When you start looking at moving beyond a single channel, like, marketing and Braze is not just email, right? There's so many different channels that move very, very quickly. And so those things tend to break. And then when you start looking at things like rapid test and learn, accelerating campaign turnaround time, those become really, really hard with like legacy platforms. And I'd be actually really curious to see what you see on your side, like Philippe. I know you guys focus like crazy on the B2B side and accelerating customer engagement on that side as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think I can echo what you've mentioned, right? I think in a minority of the cases, the tool is really the problem. So if you're heavily invested into a platform and starting with an analysis, well, what's really the issue? Is it team members that are not properly trained? Is it that the tool is used in a way it's not designed to be used? Because a good platform, has the user in mind, but has also the use case in mind and understands the discipline that it's actually operating in. Once more, I do think though that if you look at marketing, as you say, it's a challenging task, and it's so critical. If you look at a company, whether they do 10, 100 million a year, they do $1 billion a year, you're investing into marketing technology. Let's say you're going to spend anywhere between 30, 50,000 a year to several 100,000 a year or even more. It's such a small investment at the end of the day compared to the value that you're supposed to generate. So personally, of course, I strongly believe in the impact that great tech can have versus good tech. So therefore, even if something's working today, I think tools like Braze are really can really can be a game changer. Yes, so SalesWings, as you know, we complement marketing, actually typically B2C marketing platforms. We complement with B2B functionality. And our hypothesis and what we see is that the B2B marketing game has changed and is changing. B2B buyers are present omni-channel. Yeah. A lot of or several of the legacy B2B platforms are very email centric.
Yeah.
And Braze has had email early on, right? Even though they're known for mostly for or have been known for a long time for their mobile focus and so on. But modern B2B marketing should be data driven. It should be omni-channel.
Yeah.
And it's experience driven, right? And fueled by data. And that's why we feel Braze has a truly winning tech for B2B companies, and that can actually be a real competitive advantage for B2B teams.
That's super exciting. And I think it's very interesting to hear you talk about this. Obviously, Massive Rocket's traditionally focused a lot on B2C. We've got like B2B aspects on a lot of our customers. But it's always interesting for me to hear like people talk about Braze for B2B. Because what you're saying is super right. Like a B2B customer expectation has changed. Like they don't expect you to go slowly. They don't necessarily want to sit on a call. Like they want marketing automation, and they want the marketing to be relevant based on stuff that they do. They want account-based marketing to not just be on the phone or like face-to-face meetings. They want to people have Google. They can figure stuff out. They can make their considered decisions themselves. But it's really interesting to have that complemented with immediate automation as well. And it'd be super interesting to see also what you're seeing work well on some of your projects, Philippe.
Yeah, I think I mean, as you said, and as I highlighted a bit earlier, it's really about where am I reaching my B2B customer, and I'm a business, right? We're a business, but as soon as I'm not working, I'm a consumer.
Yeah.
And great brands, they really are good at marketing to me in a way that I enjoy. So now I'm sitting at my desk, I'm browsing LinkedIn, then I'm checking quickly my Instagram in my coffee break or whatnot. But I'm constantly in different channels. B2B marketing should be exciting, because otherwise it's boring me. And and that's why, again, Braze has that great stack, and where you can have flexible ways to bring in data and manage data, and we're going to talk about it in just a minute. But yeah, it's really omni-channel at the core, and then the company understanding me, and I think Braze really enables that.
Yeah.
And let's talk about now the main topic of this expert interview. So migrating over to Braze. So I know you guys are launching a white paper around this area, so that's really exciting. And I know you've helped a lot of companies, as we said. So where should a company start that has decided, well, we're going to go for Braze. We want to, use that secret weapon now, or adopt that technology.
Yeah.
In migration, where does it start? What are the steps, the critical success factors, based on your experience?
No, look, thank you for the shameless plug as well. I really appreciate it, Philippe. But I think absolutely, and some of these things are covered in a lot more detail in the white paper we're publishing. But in the short term, there's really a bunch of tactical mistakes that you want to go and look at avoiding, because it's, as you're adopting a new platform, there's a bunch of stuff that you can plan ahead very, very easily and get around, things around thinking about user ID, preference centers, landing pages, where does the data come from, where does this go? There's a bunch of this super short-term tactical things that through a series of very simple conversations and documented decisions, you can avoid very expensive mistakes later on. Long-term, the biggest mistake that I see is companies migrating to a new customer engagement platform and then trying to use it the way they use the old system. And it is definitely possible, but is it necessary? Do you get why would you move? Basically, if you're moving, you're trying to grow, you're trying to accelerate, you're trying to personalize better, segment, target, move into new markets, and deliver better experiences to your customers, which means you have to slightly think about your customers, your data, and your customer engagement program differently. And I'd say this is sometimes scary, but what we found is that there's, like you've said, the people aspect to the transformation is really very easy to pick up and run and start running with Braze. And so you get the foundations up and running. There's a lot of really good training on Braze. You establish new channels, and then you bring the team along with you. And more than any other product, I'd say that Braze is very good at helping you come from idea to reality very, very quickly. And so very visually, you can start showing wins and bringing the organization along with you, which is something that I really appreciate about the product.
Absolutely. Now, you touched upon, that learning curve.
Yeah.
Users getting used to Braze, but definitely, and we see it also, with companies that come from a Marketo, or they come from a Pardot or a Hubspot, and they're adopting our B2B side of functionalities. Generally, a user is used to something. Sometimes they have been working with another tool for many years.
Yeah.
And that's probably a bit of a switch in mindset, right?
Yeah.
So really preparing, a user and a team member and so on for, this is kind of also a different way of working here. It's exciting. Let's go for it. But definitely, even though Braze is a, let's say, very user-friendly platform, that knowledge acquisition needs to be planned in as well. Right?
I think that's right.
Braze has tons of certifications you can do, but that needs also time. So maybe leading or coming from that question, how much time should a team plan for a migration? So of course it depends, right? You have huge organizations and you have small teams, but how much time should I plan for migration over to Braze?
You can go really quickly, and it depends really on what you're moving over. As you've said, how much data do you have? How much? Sometimes your data is in a mess, your campaigns are in a mess, so you have to do some pre-planning. But once you're ready to go, it could go really fast, like a couple of weeks, couple of months, if you need to get up and running.
Yeah.
And then you start doing really cool stuff after about 3 months on every project we have. Like after about 3 months, we start doing some of the new stuff that we've talked about, which is what we really care about. And I'd say, when you were talking, I was thinking about this. I think the scary part is that people have way more time to think about the impact they'll have on customers versus spending all of that time hacking, copy pasting data, trying to go and like work around stuff. And so what used to be work, it was really hacks, and actually work now becomes thinking about my customers, thinking about what experience are they going through, what communications am I sending to them, am I sending something that's useful to them across all these channels. So you spend way more time thinking about building better experiences, and then less time actually implementing, which is actually amazing.
Yeah. It makes total sense. I see a lot of companies as well that are doing a bit of a phased migration.
Yep.
And I think that can make sense. One advice I would give any organization, once you're sort of starting to discuss, is this current platform really working for us or not? Be clear about your contracts with your existing vendor. Right?
Yeah.
Let's say I have an existing contract. It's ending, within 9 months or 6 months. You want to start that evaluation or analysis of a new platform early on. And then potentially you can run your full marketing journeys and your campaigns on your main platform that you currently have, and then do a steady migration over. I think that's, I guess, helps with a bit of a soft landing in some situations. I see companies, they do that switch, right? They kind of they switch over.
Yep.
And I don't know what you think, but I think that's
we've actually done. Yeah, we've done all forms of that. It really depends on like how fast you need to go, and I think the success depends on how prepared you are, really, for the migration. If you kind of like just jump into it with like no plan, then it's like you spend the first like couple of months just figuring out what you need to do. And so coming in prepared allows you to go super fast. We've seen like really big customers move over super seamlessly, switch off one platform, switch off the other. Some of them we've just advised from the side, and so they've even done it without massive rocket. And I would say that but the planning is the kind of key element. If you just kind of like hope that it's going to happen, like you're like definitely missing a trick over there.
Yeah, for sure. So when it comes to data, right? So Braze obviously recently has announced its data platform, which is really amazing. But how do you see that data migration? Does that tend to be rather painless, or is there usually, when you switch a platform, would you recommend clients also to kind of revisit your approach to data and collecting data, or how does that look?
It's a big, basically it's a big question, and there's probably two parts to it. So first of all, it's really exciting that Braze has released their Braze data platform. I think this is something that we've been waiting for about 2 years now. Like we leaned in, right? Like we're Snowflake and Braze agency. And the reason is, I think like what's new and exciting about it is that this is not a point we have to debate anymore. It's like Braze can handle and cater for the most common use cases. And what's also exciting is Braze is going to keep investing into all the data sources. Everything that powers Braze, they're going to keep investing in getting better at ingesting and sending data out into the stack, and creating value through all their touch points. Now, when you talk about data, there's really a lot to a migration to kind of think through. I don't think it's technically, part of the reason we do this is it's technically not that hard compared to a bunch of other stuff we've done in the past. But you kind of have to have done it a few times to understand what will work, what won't work, and then how to go faster. And the kind of key 4 work streams we always come up with is, first of all, looking deeply at the architecture. So understanding, where does data come from? Where does it go? How do you identify users? Like as I was saying, landing pages, preference center, where does those things happen? Where does this data capture? What are the sources and destinations and the master for information? Then you kind of got to look at what you were talking about. So once you've decided that, what exists today, what needs to be built, and then how do you get the data into the new system? That requires thoughtful planning, because the main issue is not necessarily the new ESP. It's kind of like you may have a mess of data in your existing platforms. And so most common issue we have to kind of look at is like, okay, there's a bunch of duplicated data in these existing systems. How do we take that, clean it up, and then bring in only what's useful inside of Braze? And so that second part would probably be around the integration and data. Third part is around looking at the campaigns. So you've got the data in Braze now, you've got the architecture set up, you got to move over the campaigns and make sure that you're, I think, moving over the right campaigns, that you don't duplicate the same mess of campaigns in Braze. And so you kind of want to think about, should I just copy paste, or is there stuff I can switch off? Which are the campaigns that make money? Which are the high priorities? Which are the ones that are maybe review and optimize? And then as you move them over to Braze, we generally tend to optimize the campaigns to make sure that they're performing super well in the new environment. If you do just those three things, you end up increasing the outcomes of your campaigns. It's actually amazing. Like simply by moving over the ESP, thinking through the data and the campaigns, the outputs of those campaigns are way higher than what you had before. Part of the reason is that you've rationalized the thinking, you've removed duplicated data, so you don't have campaigns going out to like people who don't care about it, and you've by default, I think, increased the relevance of every message you send, and so that creates like better results immediately. And then the last bit is around what we were talking about earlier, is how do you start thinking about, I'm on a new system now, I can do a bunch of new stuff. How do I start getting better experiences to my customer? And that's really around the process transformation and acceleration.
Yeah, for sure. I think that Braze also is really becoming a great brand, and there are obviously more and more users out there. What are some of the, I guess, places where you would suggest Braze users can meet with each other and exchange? So obviously there will be Forge, so encourage every Braze customers to go to Forge. It's going to be great to see you at Las Vegas. But are there maybe Slack channels or groups or something? What are great resources for more like users coming together?
It's a really good question. I found that Braze has a really great community, by the way. So they're incredible at running community, at doing events. They have the Grow with Braze events. They have their internal bonfire channels. So they're really good at community. Alongside that, we've also started organizing our own events. So we do like monthly events. If anyone's interested, you can just give us a shout, where we try and connect people who work on Braze and data and who have similar types of problems, and we kind of work through things together. So we get together once a month. We're doing them in the UK at the moment, but we're probably going to do a couple of regions later on. I'd be curious, actually, do you have any other places where like you connect with like-minded Braze people?
Well, it is a good question. I mean, there's a good Braze LinkedIn group. Recommend professionals to join. But probably there is also an opportunity there, right? To launch something. But yeah, indeed, I think Braze does a great job at having local events where customers can join. And then there's of course this big annual event. But yeah, like I think Braze is a great brand. We know the Braze teams really well. They're amazing, and as you said, the customers are. So if in doubt, just also reach out to other people within those companies and connect. Probably, Thierry, we should launch an amazing Slack channel or something where all the Braze fans can come to. This was great. We're slowly coming to the end of this show, but anyone want to meet Thierry or myself, meet us in Vegas. So Thierry, work is not everything in life, right? So what's Thierry doing today after work or on holiday, or what excites you in private life, I guess?
I wish, man. I'm the most boring guy on the planet. Like I'm supposed to be a drummer initially, so I do a lot of music, generally speaking. But since like in the last couple of years, like actually, like one of my coaches told me this. Maybe this is something that's a known thing, but you kind of have like like work, your friends, your family, like your startup, your wife. Choose three. So for me, it's like work, baby, and sleep. It's like I work, like I get up, I hang out with my kids, I do work, I hang out with my kids, I go to bed, and I really enjoy those three things. Massive Rocket is kind of my hobby at this point. Like it is getting fun. We've rebuilt the company a couple of times. Every year we kind of double in size and comes with a new set of challenges. And so I am a nerd, and it kind of feels like a really big, like interesting video game. And so I do have fun like working through some of these stuff. And our customers are getting interesting also. So they're in like multiple regions, like really interesting brands. Like we use all of our customers' products. And so it's quite fun it's very hard not to get nerdy about the work stuff, if I'm being honest. Yeah, but I probably need to get a better hobby.
No, all sounds great. I mean, work. You say it right. I mean, we do spend a lot of time at work, and we better enjoy it. I think both of us are passionate people, and so great to know about the drums. Well, maybe once you'll have to demonstrate that on another show, or we'll launch a band together. But yeah, no, thanks so much, Thierry, and thanks also to our audience. We hope you enjoyed this conversation, and Thierry, Massive Rocket, definitely a partner we can warmly recommend for anyone looking at migrating over to Braze or getting a coach for something you're working on. And so thanks so much, and see you at Forge.
Pleasure, I'm Philippe. See you at Forge.